Grace, can I have a moment?
Yes, mother-in-law. I'm on a break from work, so it's all good. What can I do for you?
Well, Betty is divorcing and moving back here, and her boyfriend, Carl Anderson, will come with her.
What? Betty got divorced? And she has a boyfriend, huh?
Yes, dear. It seems her husband discovered she was cheating. Poor thing.
Oh.
But she's serious about Anderson, so they're coming back together, with marriage in mind.
So, Anderson is Betty's adulterous lover, right? Isn't the reason she got divorced?
Well, that's part of it. We don't know what happens in our lives.
No, I think it's pretty standard for a married person not to cheat.
A mother always supports her daughter's love life, even if it involves infidelity.
But...
All right, enough with the nitpicking. I can hardly get to the main point with you.
Wait, there was more?
Actually, Anderson, he's unemployed at the moment.
What? Betty was a housewife before her divorce, wasn't she? So they're both jobless.
That seems to be the case. So I've decided they'll be living with us from tomorrow.
What?
Since you work at a major company and have a high income, you'll pay the bill for their living expenses.
Excuse me?
I told you. Since Betty and her boyfriend, Anderson, aren't working, you'll be responsible for their living expenses.
What? Why me? I can't agree for that. And I can't live with them.
I'm not asking for your opinion. I've decided as the head of this household, so just go along with it.
Excuse me? The head of the household?
You're Ethan's wife, so you have a duty to support our family.
I believe I'm already doing more than enough to support everyone. If I have to shoulder any more, we'll be in serious financial trouble.
But Betty is my daughter, and Anderson might become my son-in-law in the future.
I don't mind if they get married, but I think it's wrong for me to shoulder their living expenses and have them living with us.
Do you want to divorce Ethan? He's my son, whom I raised. I'm sure he'll agree with me.
Ethan isn't like that. I'll talk to him tonight.
Well, it's a waste of time to discuss it now. It's already decided that Betty and Anderson will move here from tomorrow.
Ethan, we have a big problem while you're away on your business trip.
Grace, what's wrong? Did something happen?
Your mother told me this afternoon. Betty got divorced due to an affair, and it seems she's coming back here with her lover, a guy named Carl Anderson. And it looks like they plan to move in with us from tomorrow.
What, seriously?
Yes, I'm serious. Furthermore, your mother told me I have to pay the bill for their living expenses.
What? That's ridiculous.
Right? I refused, but she wouldn't listen.
Wait, she got divorced because she cheated? I had no idea my sister did such a thing, which is no common sense.
I was also shocked when I first heard about it on group chat this afternoon.
Mom has always been overly loved Betty. It's seen as wrong by society. If it's Betty, it can't be helped, or Betty is special, so it's okay. It's really troubling for us who should be advising her because we can't have a reasonable conversation.
Ethan, you've had a hard time, haven't you?
Well, yeah, my divorced father used to sigh every time something happened.
I see.
By the way, is his name Carl Anderson, correct?
What?
I feel I've heard this name somewhere.
Well, assuming your mother didn't make a mistake, I guess so.
Okay, it's bothering me, so I'll look into it. It may not be someone directly related to me, but it could be a friend of a friend or something.
I see. Please let me know if you find anything.
Okay. Then I'll reach out to my friends and see if they know anything.
Okay, thanks. Mother-in-law. Hey, where are you right now?
You're so noisy. I'm out having dinner with my friends right now. What's up?
About Betty and her boyfriend, Anderson, was it?
They arrived in the afternoon. Have you met them yet?
Met them. They're, for some reason, canoodling in my room. And their luggage is taking up my entire room. And all of my stuff, it's all tossed out in the yard. What's going on?
I gave your room to them. That's why all your stuff is out in the yard.
Isn't that way out of line?
It's your fault for refusing to pay for their living expenses.
What?
If you won't agree to cover their expenses, you're the one who'll have to leave.
I have no intention of agreeing for that no matter what you say. I don't agree to Betty and her boyfriend living with us, and I certainly won't pay for their living expenses.
Then I'll put your belongings in the yard. They'll get wet if it rains. Speaking of which, wasn't rain forecast for tonight?
Why are you acting so superior? Aren't you forgetting your position in this house?
I think you're the one forgetting your position, Grace. As the daughter-in-law, you don't have the right to oppose us, the family into which you married.
Rights, huh?
Well, if you declare you'll pay for Betty and her boyfriend's living expenses, you're welcome to live in the garden shed. For you, who have no parents or siblings, no place to go back to, it's better than being thrown out of this house. Make your choice: either listen to what I say or leave my house.
Ethan, are you on your way back now?
Yeah, I'm in the bullet train. How are you going? If everything went as planned, Betty and Anderson would be at my parents' house from yesterday, right?
Yes. And they've taken over my room.
Wait, they took over your room?
When I came home from work, all of my stuff was spectacularly tossed out into the yard. When I complained to my mother-in-law, she said she would let me keep my stuff in the garden shed if I agreed to pay Betty's living expenses. If you reject, I should leave.
What? I want to ask my mother whether she's crazy. I'm really sorry for such a troublesome mother.
It's not your fault, Ethan.
Speaking of which, where were you last night? You surely didn't spend the night in the shed, did you?
No, I stayed at a business hotel as expected. I rented a pickup truck and stored the stuff that was tossed out into the yard in a rented storage unit.
I see, you got it.
I'm sorry I didn't contact you sooner. I was so tired from moving the stuff that I just fell asleep.
No problem. By the way, where's the hotel you stayed in?
About a 6-minute walk from Station A.
Can we meet at the south exit of Station A? I found out who Carl Anderson really is and I want to report it to you.
Really?
After I get off the bullet train, I have to go back to work, but after I give my business trip report, I can leave for the day. I'm thinking of meeting up about 2 hours later.
Got it. Can I wait downstairs at the south exit of Station A?
Downstairs, got it.
See you later.
Yeah, see you in 2 hours.
Ethan, thank you for the report earlier.
Sure, Grace.
I have to say, I was surprised. Carl Anderson, he's really a dangerous man.
Yeah, no kidding. When I remembered from a friend's story, I was surprised.
Anyway, I'll be at the business hotel again tonight.
Sure, I'll join you as soon as I'm ready.
Grace, have you finally made up your mind?
About what?
Stop sulking in a shed and swear to quickly start paying Betty's living expenses.
No matter how many times I'm told, I don't agree to pay for their living expenses, and I have no intention of doing so.
You have to listen to me. I'm your mother-in-law. If you don't accept quickly, I'll make you divorce Ethan.
Mom.
Oh, Ethan, good timing. Can you please also persuade Grace to be responsible for Betty and Anderson's living expenses?
We've already left the house.
What?
You've noticed Grace's belongings have been moved out, haven't you? I also moved all of my stuff out of my room overnight, and now I'm with Grace.
What? Where did you go?
I can't tell you that. We've decided to cut ties.
Cut ties. Why would you do such a thing?
Because you've been tormenting Grace ever since she married into the family. Grace is my precious wife. There's no way I can just let that slide.
I wasn't tormenting her. Grace was just being rebellious against our family, and she wasn't accepting Betty and Anderson. I was just trying to make her understand her position and convince her.
Mom, do you know the true character of Carl Anderson?
What do you mean by true character? He's just Betty's boyfriend, right?
Wrong. Anderson is a man who stole my friend's wife.
What?
He's also been involved with several other married women, and, after being sued for over $100,000 in damages, he's now in debt.
In debt?
I found this out when I looked him up because his name rang a bell. It's highly likely that Betty knows Anderson is this kind of man and is still dating him. The reason she brought Anderson into our house could be to help him hide from debt collectors.
No way. Betty wouldn't do such a thing.
And, aren't you worried about your savings being targeted?
What?
Shouldn't you check just in case? Mom, you've told Betty about the money you received from Dad as part of your estate settlement and are keeping it at home in cash, right?
Yes. I was thinking of it as my retirement fund. Having it at hand, I could actually see the money growing, and it motivated me.
What if Anderson heard about it from Betty?
Huh.
Is your retirement fund all right?
Retirement fund. My hidden savings. Surely not. Grace, help me.
What's going on?
The $30,000 I was saving in my drawer for my retirement is gone.
What?
When I asked Betty and Anderson about it, they said we used it as a housewarming celebration.
That's terrible.
Grace, help me.
Isn't it strange for you to ask me for help? Perhaps it would be more worthwhile for you to urgently look for a job.
But Grace, I am your mother-in-law. You should feel indebted to me for living together with you.
This has been bothering me for a while. Living together, indebted, what are you talking about?
Well, because you don't have any parents or siblings, so I'm living with you as a substitute mother and letting you take care of me.
Indeed, I lost my parents and I was an only child, so I have no siblings. I'm working hard to make a living, and I could easily find a place to go home if I rent a place. And the place to go home I rented turned out to be the house I was kicked out of.
What? You mean you're the renter, Grace?
Yes. Didn't we talk about this? Ethan moved into the single-family house I've been renting since I was single after we got married, and... Was it 2 months later? You lost your home due to the divorce from your old husband and suddenly showed up one day with movers, and you've been squatting ever since.
No way.
Let me continue the story. If I, the renter, move out, it means canceling the lease for that house.
What?
So, the end of this month is the moving out day. Please tell Betty and Anderson to start preparing to leave immediately.
I can't do that. Where are we supposed to go? Even the $30,000 for my retirement was used up. And I didn't know Anderson was such a terrible man. Grace.
It's too late. Goodbye.
Grace.
First, it is about Carl Anderson. After revealing his deeds to the Ethan's friend, whom he had stolen his wife, notifications were quickly spread to all involved parties. The next day, he, and strangely enough, Betty too, were taken somewhere in a black van. As the debt payments seem to be paying on schedule every month, it looks like things have turned out all right on that front. On the other hand, my mother-in-law. She has lost both her home and her breadwinner, and she finally acknowledged her dire situation. To secure her basic needs, she managed to find live-in employment. However, Seemingly she acts out by bossing around her colleagues who are younger than her and doing other inappropriate behaviors, so she's begun a countdown to being fired, yet she appears to have no clue about it.